Hey Tess, how are you? I love your hair. That's fun. Mhm. Close the door and we'll get started. I think they have everything you need. Blankets, blocks are all good. It's getting a light show here. I'm like trying to see. Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah,
It's better. That light is so important. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to your gentle yoga practice. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. So this morning, a little story. I have a 4-year-old and a 1.5-year-old. And the kids teach me so much. But this morning, my 4-year-old, so I'm getting ready to come here. And my kids are in their room with my husband. And I hear him like, Ani, who's my 4-year-old, like, stop, no, don't do that. Don't push her. No, don't bite me. Like, and then all of a sudden my baby's crying. He's like, she just pushed her. And it's this whole thing. So I'm like, Ani, come here. So I bring her into my room with me and I'm like, what is going on right now that's making you act out this way? What do you feel? What's happening? And she's like, well, I want to hit. I'm like, okay, it's okay to want to hit the bed. So she like does it. She hits the bed. She's like, but I want to kick. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You can kick the bed, pillow. So she does it. She's like, but I want to bite. I'm like, that's fine too. Bite the pillow. And so we go through this whole thing. And do you feel better now? And she's like, yeah. Well, you can do these things with your emotion that comes up, but you can't do them to people because it hurts them. And I really feel like it's yoga that's given me the opportunity to even hold that kind of space for her instead of just, I think, the go-to reaction, which is definitely from my husband, and it's him that's popping in with my daughter. So I'm gonna wait till it's then. And my reaction too, a lot of the time, is to just want to control the behavior, right? Like we just want, a lot of times when uncomfortable emotions come up, whether it's within ourselves or within someone else, we just want them to stop. I just want this to stop. I just want her to stop hurting the baby. I want her to stop biting, and I want her to listen to me. right? Like, and that comes down to this control. That I just want to control the situation so that it's not this thing that I don't know how to deal with. It's making me uncomfortable and it's creating disturbance for everyone else. And I think that when we can recognize that, like our tendencies to hold on and to control and where they show up, we can start to work on kind of loosening that a little bit. And once we loosen that, once we stop resisting what's really happening, and stop trying to contain it, we can start to get curious about it. We can start to have this kind of beginner's mindset of like, well, what's happening here? Like, what's underneath? Like, I'm doing this with anger right now because I get really triggered by my husband's responses in situations like that. And it's like, and I don't have it figured out. I don't really know what's going on with me in that moment, but I'm bringing this beginner's mind to it. Like, okay, I'm angry. Like, why? What am I really angry with? Like, what hurt is being, tapped on right now that's making me react this way? And our yoga practice teaches us to constantly be letting go of our control so that we can connect to what's happening beneath the surface, what's happening underneath, and to investigate that. So we're going to explore that a little bit today. So let's all take an even more comfortable seat. Sit up nice and tall. You can move the flesh away from your sitting bones. And welcome your breath. And the breath is the only function in the body that's both something we don't have to think about controlling. It happens automatically. But also we can bring control to. We can bring this practice of conscious breathing patterns into the body to create really major shift. So what happens when we consciously deepen the breath and take a deeper inhale and a fuller exhale? What happens when we give this very natural and human need to control our environment and ourselves, other people? What happens when we give it a channel and a way to express through our body and our breath? What are we able to soften and let go of? And then notice if there's any part of your body that's tensing or gripping. Because even this is the way that that need for control manifests. And often we're not even aware of it. Like if we just hold this tension in our jaw or in our shoulders, then it'll be okay. We can kind of lessen that fear that comes from feeling as though things are happening that we can't change. And then take a moment to feel the parts of your body that are on the ground, that are being supported. Feel the earth beneath you and allow your body to sink in, to settle down. Feel that you're grounded. You could even imagine growing roots deep and wide into the earth. And lean into the support that it offers instead of feeling like you have to work so hard to hold yourself up. Widen the corners of your eyes and smooth out your forehead. Let your tongue get heavy and wide on the lower palate of your mouth. And then very subtly lean back. I read a quote this morning. That's Gabby Bernstein quote, actually. She said, when you let go of expectations and outcomes, you stop trying to control the universe. Instead, you allow the universe to support you. So as you lean back, just subtly here, allow yourself to be supported. Allow yourself this support and container that the universe provides to be a safe space here on your mat where you could begin to explore what's underneath. Once again, notice your breath. And then bring your hand on top of your heart. Whichever hand you feel called to place there. And let your breath fill up the space beneath your hand. See if you could drop down, back and down into yourself. And explore what's underneath the breath. What happens when you bring this curiosity and beginner's mind to your own body? To your present state of being, whatever energetic charge you might find that you're carrying today. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. It could just be this exploration of what's under the surface, which we don't always know. Sometimes it takes years, lifetime to figure it out. The intention could just be the question. What am I feeling in this moment? What's ready to be illuminated? And where can I release and let go of that which no longer serves me? Then we'll begin our class and seal in our intentions with 3 cleansing breaths. Take a deep breath in and let it go with a sigh. 2 more like that. Gently bow your head to your heart. Slowly open your eyes and release your hands. We're going to start in a supported fish pose. So you'll use a blanket for this, and you'll want to open up your blanket so that it makes this long rectangle. And then you're going to just roll that up. And then you'll place that right across your mat. That's going to support the area right behind your heart, right underneath your shoulder blades. Smooth all your props out of the way and come to sit with your knees bent and your feet on the ground. Take a breath and lengthen your spine, sit up nice and tall, and then lower yourself down so that the blanket finds that place right behind the heart center. And that you could bring your arms down to the ground in a cactus shape. Your shoulders don't have to touch the earth here, but they're moving in that direction. If this is too much, if the blanket is too high, you can unroll it slightly. And then you can decide if you'd like to keep your legs in the shape that they are or extend your legs long. You could take your feet wide with your knees bent and knock your knees in onto each other. Or you could bring the soles of your feet together and take your knees wide. Come back to your breath. And with every exhale, see if you could shed and let go of one little knot or one little spiral of tension that's gripping somewhere in your body. See if you could allow the props beneath you, the blanket, the ground. See if you could allow them to support you more fully, letting your body get heavier. Releasing that need to control or to hold on tightly, even if it's just for a breath or two. And then once we do that, that's when we can start to see what's underneath the tension. What's behind the thought? Find your brain is starting to weave a narrative around this experience. Can you let that go? Can you say, oh, I see what's happening here. Here's my brain trying to hold on to something. Hold on to the story so that we can feel a little more safe, a little more in control. We'll be here for just a few more breaths. Your next inhale, bring your knees back up to center if you're not there already. And you'll slowly make your way onto your right side. You could stay on the blanket or move it off your mat. Just give yourself a moment here to curl up. And then you'll go ahead and move the blanket if you haven't already done so, and come back onto your back. Take a full body stretch here, lengthen from your fingers to your toes. With your arms overhead, take your left wrist in your right hand. Walk your feet over to the right corner of your mat, and then place your left ankle on top of your right. Arch your upper body over to the right so that you're in a crescent moon shape here. Try to keep both shoulders on the ground. And breathe in all up the left side. So tonight we have a full moon in the sign of Sagittarius. Sun is in Gemini. This is a great energy for exploring these thought patterns, exploring any beliefs that we might hold to be true, that are ready to be released, ready to be shed. So if we work with this energy here on our mat, become curious. Let in what we're feeling so that it can move through us. It's like, okay, this is uncomfortable. Can I stay with it and breathe, even though I don't like it? Even though the instinct is to control the situation so that I can avoid it. And then can I discover what's happening below? Inhale, come back to center, another big stretch from your fingertips to your toes. And then take your left hand to your right wrist, walk your feet over to the left side of your mat and cross your right ankle on top of your left. Arch your upper body over to the left, finding this crescent moon shape on the second side. I was listening to this podcast on the way here that I forget what it's called, but it's Glennon Doyle's podcast that a couple of my friends just told me about yesterday. And they were talking, it's her and her sister and her wife, and they were talking about ADHD in children with atypical nervous systems, neuroatypical, and about how easy it can be to get into a relationship with the behavior instead of with the person underneath it. And I think that it's so easy to do that with others and even with ourselves. Well, what will someone think if I say this? Right? What's the behavior that makes me want to yell or stay in bed or bite someone?
Instead of, well, what's happening underneath with the feelings of the person. And we need to first do that with ourselves before we can do that with anyone else. Just a few more breaths here, breathing all the way up the right side of the body. And come back through center, remember full body stretch. Hug your knees into your chest. Gently roll to your right side, make your way all the way up to hands and knees and tabletop. Bring your knees just underneath your hips or slightly behind your wrists, right under your shoulders. Spread your fingers evenly and wide. And then take a few breaths and movements through cat-cow movements. You inhale, sitting bones and tailbone lift, soften your belly, melt your heart. Take your gaze up. As you exhale, round through your back, tailbone lengthens, belly draws in, pull the ribs back and bring your chin to your chest. Flow with your breath. And see if you could bring a beginner's mind to this pose that you've done hundreds or thousands of times. Exploring what you find today in small parts of the body are tight. What parts of the body are hypermobile? Where do we need support? And where do we need release? And then make your way into downward facing dog. You can pedal out through your legs here, bending your knees, sending the opposite heel towards the earth. Press your hands into your mat. Lengthen back, lengthen all the way up the spine, send your hips up and back. Inhale, come to a high plank, a high push-up. You can bring your knees down to the mat or keep them lifted. And as you exhale, slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Put your toes straight back, press the tops of the feet down, curl your shoulders up and back, lift your heart into cobra. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts as you inhale. Lunge it forward as you exhale. Step it all the way up so that your right knee is over your right ankle. Press your left thigh up to the sky. Keep your left hand down, and as you inhale, reach your right arm up. Keep pressing your left thigh up towards the ceiling. Then bend your right elbow, bring your hand to your shoulder, to the front of your arm bone, and curl your shoulder back. Open up your heart first, and then re-extend the arm up to the sky. Breathe. So the very basic premise of this hopping of the practice is like, let's put ourselves in this shape that we don't normally hang in, that may not be super comfortable for the body. And let's stay there for a while. Like, let's get used to it. Let's breathe into the discomfort and see what happens. Let's explore what the mind does, what the body does. And then what we can do to find some ease and peace in it all. Exhale, release. Go ahead and step back into downward facing dog. I used to teach a pretty big gentle class at a gym, and there were a lot of people who'd never done yoga before. And who were typically older during the day, during the week. And it was very often that someone would say, like, well, this doesn't feel good. I thought yoga was supposed to be relaxing. No, the relaxation comes after the discomfort. Yoga does not necessarily feel good. On your next inhale, take your left leg to the sky. Exhale, lunge it forward in between your hands. Take a moment and set yourself up. Left knee over the ankle. Press your right thigh high to the sky, even more than you think. Keep your right hand down and sweep your left arm. Pause here. Bend your left elbow, bring your hand to the head of your arm bone, to the front of your shoulder, curl your shoulder back, open up your heart, and then re-extend there. Then what happens if you hug your legs in more? If you press down through your feet? If you release the grip in your jaw? If you soften your gaze? If you deepen your breath, you draw the breath down into the belly. If you bring yourself back to the present moment when your mind starts to think, how long am I going to stay like this? What am I doing later? And the goal is that maybe when we're in these uncomfortable situations off of our mat out in the world, that maybe we can bring an ounce of this practice in. And we're human, so we forget, but then we try again. Exhale, release, step back into down dog. You can either stay here in downward facing dog, you could take a breath or two in child's pose, or you could move through vinyasa. And then come into child's pose if you're not there already. Knees wide, big toes together, send your hips back towards your heels or head to the ground. In child's pose, we find this energy of surrender. When we let go and just be, where we're curled up in this protective little ball. In the darkness of ourselves. We breathe into what we find here, and then can we soften? Make your way back into down dog. Right leg lifts as you inhale, lunge it forward as you exhale. This time you can widen your feet a little bit so that they're more like on skis rather than on balance beam. And then hug your legs in towards each other. Really press down through your feet, and when you feel stable, inhale, reach your arms up. See if you could bend a little more into your front knee. Draw your right hip back so your hips stay level towards the front of your mat. Press your left leg towards straight. Reach up as much through your thumbs as through your pinkies and lift your heart, maybe a little back bend here. Exhale, release your hands down, bring them to the inside of your right foot, and then walk your hands all the way over to the left until you're in a wide-legged forward fold with your feet parallel, legs wide. Inhale, lengthen your spine. See if you can widen your sitting bones here, keeping a little natural curve in the low back. Take your shoulder blades onto your back. Take another breath, and as you exhale, maybe you fold a little more deeply forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. And then walk your hands, keep going over to the left. Turn your left toes forward. Pivot your back heel up until you're in a lunge on your second side. You check out where your feet are on your mat. Press down and root to the earth. Hug your legs in towards each other. Once you find a sense of strength and stability, then you can inhale, reach your arms up. Press your right thigh high to the sky. Draw your left hip back. Keep your pelvis level to the front of your mat. Pull your low ribs in, but reach your sternum up, a little back bend. Reach up as much through your thumbs as through your pinkies. Breathe. Exhale, release, bring your hands to the inside of your left foot. Walk your hands over to the right into your back in that wide-legged forward fold. This time, walk your hands up onto your hips. Draw your shoulder blades onto the back of the heart. From the back of the heart, come all the way up to stand. And then turn your toes out. So we're going to come into goddess. Toes turn out, bend your knees. Bring your hands onto your thighs. And then you could just sway your hips side to side. And maybe you involve the shoulders. So as you shift towards one side, your one shoulder comes in, and then the other. Just play with that. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You're just exploring your body. And then come back into a traditional goddess. Bring your arms into goddess. Press into your feet, sink a little bit lower, and then inhale, come up into star. Straighten your legs, reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, back into goddess. Inhale up. And then flow like this, and you could incorporate lion's breath here as you come down. You can stick your tongue out really wide. Do 3 of those. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, release your hands to your hips. Bring your feet to parallel. And step or jump your feet together. Come to stand in mountain pose into Tadasana. Feet parallel. Arms down by your sides with your palms face up. Close your eyes. Take a moment to pause, to breathe, to feel. Notice your breath. Notice what's underneath the surface of your breath. So yoga also takes us out of our comfort zone by doing things like lion's breath, right? Or it's a behavior that we're not typically sticking our tongue out really wide in a group of people with this loud exhale. And sometimes we can fall into that pattern of like, oh, well, what are people going to think I'm doing this? Or what are they going to think if I'm not doing it? And this is awkward. Can we just let all of that go? To lean into the support of the discomfort, of the awkwardness, of the universe. Okay, now we'll slowly, let's sit. And bring the soles of your feet together with your knees wide. Move the flesh away from the sitting bones, press your feet into each other. Sit up nice and tall, take your shoulders back and down, hard legs. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, start to hinge from your hips to fold forward, right until you find your edge. And once you're there, pause, take another breath. Exhale, maybe your edge moves a little further away. And then you can decide if you want to keep this a little more young, a little more engaged with your muscles, with your alignment, or if you'd like to make this a little more yin and round through your back, or your shoulders, let your head just hang. Relax your arms, let go of any tension in the body. More breaths here. Inhale to rise, bring your hands to the backs of your thighs, bend your knees back up to center, and then take your legs wide. And then you'll take your right hand, turn your right palm up on your right leg, and then slide your hand down towards your foot. So maybe you can grab your foot here. So it looks like this, palm stays up. Yeah, and then you kind of take the big toe mount in your thumb and your pointer finger. If that doesn't happen, it's fine, you just keep your hand on top of your leg. Then inhale, sweep your left arm up. You can reach it overhead towards your foot. And if you find your foot, that's great. And if you don't find your foot, that's also great. But what you'll do is you'll bend your elbow and bring your hands to the back of your head. And then wherever you are, you start to curl your chest up towards the sky. See if you could keep your weight even through your sitting bones. If you could keep your energy grounded. Inhale back up to center. Pause here for just a breath. Feel what you feel. And then we'll do the second side. So your left hand comes up towards the sky. You rest it on top of your left leg. And then you start to slide your leg, your hands down your leg. So you lean over to the left. Maybe you catch your foot, maybe not. Inhale, your right arm sweeps up. Reach it out and over towards your foot. And then if it doesn't make contact here, then you'll bend your elbow, bring your hands to the back of your head. Press your head into your hand. Rotate your chest up towards the sky. Breathe. Check in with the weight on your sitting bones through your pelvis. See if you could level that out and ground evenly through your foundation. Couple more breaths here. Inhale back to center. Pause once you arrive here. You can place your hands on your kneecaps. It's always a nice way to give yourself a little energetic love to your knees. And take a breath in, lengthen through your spine, and as you exhale, hinge from your hips, fold forward. You could use blocks here under your forearms. You could stay up on your fingertips. You could bring your forearms down to the ground. Bring your awareness to the entire length of your legs. The back side of your legs that's touching the ground, and press down. Anchor more through your seat, through your pelvis. And then from there, from that place of being supported and of leaning in to the support of the earth and of the universe, can you lengthen through the spine? Open the heart center even more, and exhale as you fold. Yoga also teaches us not to get caught up in what the pose should look like. It's a lesson that most of us learn the hard way by trying to force ourselves into a shape until we injure something. We've done it so many times. Oh my God, I just really wanna be one of those people who can just lay my body flat on the ground in this pose. So then we get to explore why. And instead, can we be okay in a pose that's best for us? Instead of being so focused on what's on the surface, the way the pose looks, or the way we find ourselves or someone else behaving. Can we instead explore what's underneath that? Well, why do we need it to look that way? Or why am I so frustrated with this, with my 4-year-old acting out? And what's really happening here instead? Inhale, walk your hands in, bring your hands to the backs of your thighs, pull your legs back to center, and then come on down onto your backs. When you come onto your back, your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little massage here on the low back. And then keep your right knee hugged into your chest and extend your left leg long. Take your right knee in your left hand, bring your right arm out to the side. In a cactus shape, so the elbow is in line with your shoulder, your wrist is over your elbow. Take a breath in here, and as you exhale, guide your knee across your body over to the left, coming into a twist. You'll roll onto the outer left hip. You might even find the kind of scoot your hip over to the right a little. And then gaze out over your right shoulder. Inhale, come back to center. Send your right leg long to meet your left. Pause here for just a moment and feel the difference between your right side and left. And then hook your left knee into your chest. Take your left knee in your right hand, bring your left arm out to the side. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, twist. Left knee comes to the right. You can move your hips a little to the left and look over your left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, hug both knees back into your chest. And then take your knees wide, feet up towards the sky for happy baby. Grab onto the pinky toe edges of your feet or your ankles. You could stay stationary here and keep drawing your knees down towards the ground, or you could rock side to side. And then when this pose feels complete for you, you can make your way into Shavasana. If there's any last stretch that you find your body needs, you can feel free to take it here. In Shavasana, let your feet gently open to the sides. Have your arms down by your sides with the palms face up, so that your thumbs roll down towards the ground and your shoulder blades can tuck underneath your back. And take a full breath in and a complete breath out. To a few more cleansing breaths like that, if you feel called. Give yourself permission here to let go of any tension that you're carrying and release it to the earth. Give yourself permission to let go of any stress and drop it down to the earth. Give yourself permission to let go of any identities that are no longer serving you and surrender them to the earth. Give yourself permission to shed any old parts of yourself, new layers of skin, giving them gratitude to the earth. Allow yourself to surrender fully, letting your body get heavy, rooted, grounded as the earth holds you. Then you can fully relax into Shavasana.
And slowly begin to deepen your breath. Draw awareness back into your body by wiggling your fingers and your toes. You can start to move and stretch in any way that feels good for your body. And then draw your knees into your chest. Gently roll to your right side. And slowly make your way back up to find a comfortable seat. And then close your eyes and bring your hands together in front of your heart. Call back your intention that you set at the beginning of class. Feel free to modify or change it in any way to use off of your mat. Carry it with you out into your life and out into the world. And then we'll seal in our intentions and end our class with a final cleansing breath. Take a deep breath in and let it go. And gently bow your head to your heart. The light within me recognizes and honors this very same light in each one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for your practice. So sorry for my coughing fit in Shavasana, worst possible time ever. I apologize. I know what happened. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. That's always the way.
What's the worst one?
It's always the worst thing, right?
That's
Yeah, that's my.
well, it's gonna act up.
Thanks, Erin.
Thanks so much, Debbie. Have a great day.
You too. Take care.
You too.